AmityCast?
Who thought?
Who would have thought? Matthew, have you heard?
Heard what?
You haven't heard? It was under my impression that everyone had heard.
Heard what? I hear a lot of things. I have schizophrenia.
I don't know. Either I've watched too much Family Guy or you haven't watched enough. But either way, uh, welcome back. Um, Today we'll be discussing a couple films, but first we should get started with some film/TV news. TV first because I just found out that they are reviving Futurama once again. Looks like Hulu has officially announced that they're bringing the show back. I'm a big Futurama fan, and I have some mixed feelings about this. So, Matthew, as someone who's never really seen Futurama, what do you think about this? What do you make of this?
I'm in serious deja vu right now, but I've watched like some of it. I really enjoyed what I saw. I never like committed to like watching the whole thing. Quick question:
Right.
Is like the whole show? Is it like kind of like anthology one-off based, or is it like actually like a continuous narrative?
It's not episodic in the same fashion as like The Simpsons. It actually is like narrative based. Like it has like its fair share of episodes. It's a lot like Rick and Morty. Like there's like Rick and Morty. There's a lot of like what Futurama did. Like there is one continuous through line with the story, and there are like big dips in it and big moments in it. But like obviously it has some episodes that are a bit more one off and stuff like that. But it does have a consistent narrative. Like time like does move on in the show. They talk about how the years like grow and stuff like that. Like how there's more and everything. So that is kind of the fashion of it, and I think it's fantastic. It's one of the best animated shows I've really ever seen. All of it's I've seen every episode multiple times. It's fantastic.
Yeah, from what I've seen, well, the news just broke today. I thought, but isn't like most of the original cast coming back?
Yeah, so it looks like a lot of the important people from the show's original couple runs, from the Fox run and the Comedy Central run, will be returning. And it looks like most of the key cast is returning, but one of the big problems, I have a few issues with it, and one of the big ones is John DiMaggio, who played Bender, probably the most important character, has not agreed to return yet, which doesn't mean he won't, but as of now, he has not returned, and it's kind of a big deal because Bender is the most iconic character from the show, and if they were to recast him, that would be a little fishy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how like climatic and like I don't know how the show ended, so I don't know if it really left room for like anything else. But if I guess if the original creators sign off on it, or at least are involved with this somewhat, I guess there's hope there. But it is a little weird that the show's been, I don't know exactly how long. It's been like 10 years or something.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean not to stay on it too long, but basically how I feel about it is there's still room for more like the sci-fi and the comedy that was always there. But as far as like the story goes, like they had a really good, satisfying ending that really wrapped everything up very nicely. It actually had an incredible finale that did justice to all of the characters that had been built up over a 14-year span. So I personally love the ending, and and it made me like I think it really ended the show in a great way, set it off great,
so
and it didn't overstay its welcome at all. I know some people started to get don't like the later seasons as much, but I still really enjoy it, and I think it was handled really well. So now it's a little weird. I don't know what they're gonna do like narrative wise. I mean, they can still have fun like sci-fi and comedy wise, of course, but I don't know. It's a little weird to me.
yeah, so it looks like the show ended in 2013, so it's actually almost been 10 years. Um,
Yeah, it's so weird that it's just randomly coming back now.
it seems because I think this is going straight to some streaming service like HBO or something. So this might either be like something with like genuine thought behind it, or it's just because they know they'll get subscribers. So I guess it really just depends with like the more we hear about it. But it's kind of weird
Yeah, that's true.
because it doesn't. it doesn't seem like anybody was like absolutely dying for like more of Futurama. Um,
Yeah, I don't know. It seems really out of left field to me. When
and
I saw the news, I thought it was like a joke at first, but then I found out that it was actually true. So I don't know. It's weird. A weird thing about it though is that now that it's coming back, Matt Groening's other show, The Simpsons, one of the most famous animated shows ever. That show had been on for 11 years when Futurama premiered, and then now Futurama has had its initial run, its second run after cancellation, and then its third run after its second cancellation, then been off the air for 9 years and is now going to return for another revival. And The Simpsons is still running, having never been canceled at any point.
The Simpsons should have ended like a long time ago.
Like
Probably.
at least 20 years ago. Probably like at least 15, like a while ago.
Yeah, I don't know what New Simpsons is like, but like I haven't heard anything positive. So, um, yeah, I mean I don't know. Is this like going straight to like HBO Max? Is that like what they're doing?
I think like Hulu, yeah.
Yeah, kind of reminds me of the Total
So
Drama revival, which that's going to HBO Max. That was like
did that ever
announced.
happen? We heard the news on that like 3 years ago.
It was announced like a year and a half, 2 years ago, I think. I don't know if anything else has come about it. I was pretty excited for it because like the show ended on a really bad note, so a revival was greatly needed. Um, and that show's kind of designed to like do whatever you want.
Yeah, that's true.
It was only announced a year ago, so it could just be like
Yeah, I just saw it
production.
was announced in February 2021. So I'm
Yeah,
excited to see that. I like Total
it
Drama
was
personally.
actually apparently it was renewed for 2 new seasons, so there's that. But I'm more excited for that than like it's a show that like seemingly ended 10 years ago. Um,
Yeah, it's really weird.
I know there's a lot
Some
of
other really
these.
big.
There's like a whole tangent about a lot of these studios like just like reviving stuff to put on their streaming platform with like little or no thought. Like that newest Ice Age, which I've not seen, but yeah, I already know it's terrible. It looks terrible.
The Ice Age Adventures of Buck Wild.
It's,
It's probably like I would say it's close to masterpiece level. I wouldn't say quite there. It's
they don't
about
even
on
have
that
the
tier though.
fucking squirrel in it because they don't own the rights to the squirrel. And it's like
So stupid. So
yeah,
bad.
like the series didn't need like anything past like I guess the second film. I don't know, but the first three were like fine enough as like kids films, but then they made like four and then like five, and then like it's been like over like 7 or 8 years since the fifth one. And now they just released a random one on Disney Plus. It's just I don't know.
Has it really been that long? That's so weird.
Ice Age Five
I
was
remember
like
seeing
2015, I
I remember
think.
seeing the trailer for Ice Age Collision Course and being just so upset. And that was when I wasn't even like I was so upset about that.
Yeah, I mean, I was a kid when like the fourth one came out, and like I enjoyed it. I haven't like watched it since because I was a kids movie, but like I saw the fifth one in theaters, and like I hated it. Um, I didn't want to see it in theaters. I was like morbidly interested in watching it just because I was like a fan of it as a kid, but like I didn't want to actively watch it in the theater. But
I remember having a Blu-ray of the fourth one, Ice Age Continental Drift, and I used to watch it a lot when I was younger.
yeah, I really loved Ice Age as a kid. I mean, I haven't. I kind of want to rewatch all of them like as an adult, but I feel like I won't really
See how
like
they
them.
hold up.
Yeah, I think they're all on Disney Plus now. So,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Um, so there's some really big film news actually. There's a new Morbius poster. So
yeah. Looks. Did you also hear Russell
um,
Crowe is cast in the Craven the Hunter film as
Craven the Hunter
Aaron
film.
Taylor
Yeah,
Johnson's father? So he's playing Craven's dad, and
yeah.
it
Which is just
sounds
it's just great to see
terrible.
more news about a film that I don't care about and don't ever want to see. Um,
Yeah, I told my roommate about it because we were complaining about the Morbius film and how terrible it looked, and I was like, "Did you hear they're making a Craven film without Spider-Man?" He was like, "Wait, what?" And
yeah.
Morbius is coming out on April 1st, I guess, which is less than 2 months away, which is a little concerning for my health. But um, I hate Sony. That's gonna be a fun episode, though.
Yeah.
We're gonna get some comments about not being true Morbius fans, but that's fine.
Yeah, it'll be very upsetting because I think I've made it very clear I'm not a true Morbius fan. But whatever.
I feel like the Morbius video will get a lot of views for some reason. So it seems like the films we don't necessarily like talking about get like the most attention. So yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much. I feel like there was some other news that I heard recently. Oh, the Super Bowl. Actually, I guess not next week, but the week after that, we can talk about all the Super Bowl trailers because it sounds like there's gonna be quite a bit actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I know. Like Nope, and Jordan Peele's new film is gonna have like a full-on trailer at the Super Bowl, and
Really? Yeah, I saw like a preview, and then
it's so dumb.
I
The
guess
preview was just
that's
like
exciting.
pictures of, it was just like clips of his other two films, and he's like,
Get Out
"Yeah,
and
make
Us.
another movie."
Yeah.
And
Like from the mind of Jordan Peele. Okay, just okay.
very pretentious. And there's, I think Jurassic World might be getting a trailer.
That'd be exciting.
And I think Thor 4 might as well. I think the Batman is supposed to get one, which there's not much to talk about because that's less than a month away. But
Right.
there was something else that was like pretty big. Oh, I think Doctor Strange might get a TV spot. Probably Minions 2. I think Minions 2 is getting a TV spot.
Exciting.
Yeah, it sounds like there's gonna be some stuff. Yeah, and there was also some exciting news because the Obi-Wan Kenobi show got a release date and its first poster.
May 25th.
May 25th. I'm pretty excited for that. I think that could be very good. We'll have to see though.
Yeah, there's some high hopes for that.
Yeah, it also comes out like the 45th anniversary of the original Star Wars, which is kind of cool. But yeah, there's that. And I guess there's a chance.
Paddington 3 started filming.
What?
Paddington 3 started filming.
Did it start filming?
It's gonna start filming, I should say.
I haven't seen the first two, but they have like really high scores. I don't know if they're actually like that good or what.
Nah, they're fun. They're whatever. But yeah, Paddington 2 became like such like a meme because it was 100% on Rotten Tomatoes for a long time. I remember seeing like a full-on article that I guess like they found an old review on Rotten Tomatoes that was negative, so it changed to a 99%. And like the title of the article was like Paddington 2 no longer the greatest film of all time on Rotten Tomatoes. And I was like, well, first thing, there are a lot of other movies that have 100% ratings, so that doesn't make any sense. And second thing, who cares?
Yeah, Rotten Tomatoes sucks a lot.
It's pretty bad, yeah.
Yeah, I think Venom 2 is like a 70. I know, I think it's...
Yeah, it's obscenely high for what it is.
All the reviews are like, this is really bad, but like, it wasn't trying to be good, so I enjoyed it. Yeah, and... Was there anything else? I think... There's like some news. I think Fast and Furious 10 is starting to film soon.
Oh, good. I'm so excited.
Did you hear that? I think I showed you. Apparently Jason Momoa is the villain.
Yeah, it's really stupid and annoying.
Yeah. Also, like a Fast and Furious show was like announced or something. I don't know what the fuck the plot of that would be, but I'm not watching it.
What's the point?
Yeah.
I mean, there's quite a bit going on, I guess.
Euphoria. He's now a teenage girl. But besides that, I'm just kidding. It might be a good show. I don't know.
Yeah, what's your problem, bro? It's a good show. Jeez.
I'm just kidding. Just the memes are funny because they're just talking about how like fucked up some parts of the show are, and they're like, bro, they're literally in high school.
Yeah, it's intense. It is, sheesh. But it's also extremely engaging, and
You're engaged. You're engaged. Who are you married to?
Okay, so there's a large fallacy with what you just went through because obviously I didn't say I was engaged. Engaged is not married, so I don't know why you worded it that way. And also,
How's this one married?
shut up. She's asleep over there.
Oh, she's asleep. Let's go.
Yeah.
No women.
No, but
Don't.
Euphoria is a good show. The season two, I think the last episode of season two is supposed to be airing next week. I'm not fully caught up yet, but I enjoy it.
Wait, what led you to watch that in the first place? Was it Trinity?
Well, Trinity started watching it, and she watched the first three while I was with her. The first three episodes, and then honestly, the first episode was okay, but then the next two were actually surprisingly effective, and I just got invested. So
Yeah, I mean, true. That's how shows usually work.
no, that's how good shows usually work. A lot of shows, no. I still need to watch more of Peacemaker. I've only seen the first episode.
Peacemaker, I'm caught up with that show. It's actually pretty good.
It's very tonally different from what I expected in the first episode, at least. So,
Did you expect it to be serious?
well, no, it was more serious than I was expecting.
Oh, yeah. There's some interesting content.
It was weird because
it has a lot of different elements.
The first 15 minutes is really loaded with jokes. There's a lot of funny banter going back and forth. And John Cena is just kind of really experiencing the humor aspect. But then the rest of the episode tails off into more there's a lot of heavy dialogue scenes, and the wacky moments didn't even really seem very wacky. It was just kind of weird. And then at the end it just went completely nonsensical. And I was I don't know what to think about this. It's just it's all over the place. I don't know.
The first episode is definitely the weakest. It kind of gets better with each episode, if I'm being honest. But
well, I'm definitely gonna watch a few more. I haven't given it a fair chance yet. So, but yeah. And then I haven't started the Book of Boba Fett, but I do plan on watching that as well. So I heard that it gets really good toward the end. So.
Yeah, I've watched all but the finale because that just came out today.
Right.
But yeah, definitely the later episodes are better. The first few are actually kind of bad, but not bad. They're just kind of boring. But I think that's the biggest problem with that show is that I don't think Boba Fett should be the main character of anything.
That's true.
He's very much a side character. I mean, he had no lines of dialogue. He had 2 lines of dialogue in one whole trilogy. So.
Absolutely, yeah.
The Mandalorian is a much more effective character than Boba Fett was. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to check it out.
Yeah. I mean, Moon Knight's
in prep for the Obi-Wan show. I mean, I've seen the shows so far, so the Obi-Wan show I'm excited for. So.
Well, yeah, Moon Knight's next month, and then Obi-Wan. So I'm excited for those two. For sure.
Yeah, some good stuff going along with all that. I think we can probably get into our main topic soon. So,
it has been on
Matthew
for the last 20 minutes. So,
so Matthew has finally seen one of my favorite films ever. Actually, one that I've hoping that he would watch for a long time, so we could talk about it, and he finally has. And it has a new entry in its franchise releasing next week.
Next Friday.
So
right? Yeah, next Friday.
Yep, next Friday. So
same day as Uncharted.
We can finally discuss it. So Matthew, how did you feel about 1974's The Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
Well, first off, I've seen the first half of this movie 5 years ago, and I really liked what I saw, but I never got to finish it. It's surprisingly short. It's 80 minutes. Yeah,
it's only an hour 20. It's not very long.
Yeah, which is fine because it gets to the point. I've always heard about this movie. I always feel it doesn't get as much attention as some of the other slashers.
Right.
I think a lot of that. I think this is the one example where the rest of the movies kind of tarnish how this film is kind of viewed as a whole. As a movie on its own, this movie is pretty spectacular. It's almost not really a movie. It just kind of an experience, and it's just kind of it feels like you're just kind of watching these events happen, and it feels extremely realistic, and um, I had to like pause it a few times just to kind of like recollect myself and take in what was going on. And like there was like a good um, 10-20 minutes after the movie where I just kind of like sit and rethink and like just kind of like not like forget about the movie, but like stop thinking about it. And because I watched this movie really late at night, I watched it at like midnight, so I figured that was a good time to watch it. Surprisingly, Leatherface is not in this movie that much, which I knew going in, because I always heard that the sequels focus way too much on Leatherface when he's very much really just another part of the family. So,
Yeah, in this original film, like Leatherface is like the slasher villain, but he's not the only villain. He's not really even the main like antagonist. But he's executed very well, I think.
the
In
other two
in
were much more like psychologically horrific, and
Yeah, they're much more like psychologically intimidating, I think.
I mean, Leatherface was scary physically, and like the scenes he did have, like that first, his intro scene is easily one of my favorite like slasher introductions. Very well done, very shocking, and like the way that like he throws that hammer and the guy's like still twitching after he gets hit in the head was fucking disturbing. And that scene where he chases the girl out the door is so fucking. I don't know. It's just like how he moves and like how fast.
Yeah, I think
just fucking creeps me out.
Gunnar Hansen, the actor who portrayed Leatherface, he did such an amazing job because the character itself, throughout the film, the character is terrifying. He's extremely intimidating physically, but also just like in like action, and as you see like the small pieces of development, it grows more and more like psychologically terrifying. And there's like a bunch of little things like the twitches or like the way that like he moves, like you said. It's just it all fits perfectly. Just make it like a true like terrifying villain. And then like I think the scariest thing is just like the whole family and like the whole dynamic as like you grow deeper and deeper into the film. Is that like he's really like he seems more just like someone with a developmental disability that doesn't really know what he's doing, and he's being controlled by his cannibalistic family. It's all horrifying. It's gruesome, and it's fantastic. I love it.
Yeah, and even just the opening. I mean, the narration at the beginning. I mean, I don't know if it was entirely necessary, but like it was. I don't know. The guy's voice was. It was very foreboding and kind of foreshadowing, just kind of like how you would feel throughout the movie, and like those like images of like the corpses and stuff, and like the news broadcasts about everything going on in Texas was very mood setting. And at the time I was confused because I don't remember the first like 20 minutes of this movie. I remembered like from the hitchhiker scene to like Leatherface first showing up, and I guess I never. I was kind of confused why they were talking about this grave robbing stuff, but then I guess I think it's pretty much explained that it was the family doing that. But
right.
Yeah.
I really like the opening.
It's a very good opening. For sure.
The opening with the narration is like a little weird, but then like when it shows like the corpse and it zooms out with like the radio broadcast, that I always remember like it got me really disturbed right away, and I thought it opened up the film like atmosphere wise perfectly.
Yeah, it did for sure. You don't really. I wouldn't say like you feel gross. You just kind of feel weird out of this movie.
Yeah, it's
one of those movies.
It was life changing to me.
It's one of those movies I'd put on a list where it's kind of one of those movies that it sounds kind of like cringy to say, but like it will kind of just change. You'll just kind of be different after you watch a movie like this.
Yeah, I know it definitely was life changing to me when I saw it when I was a bit younger. The first time I watched this movie, it was so shocking, and it was so It was so like visceral how it affected me.
And
And
it's not.
honestly, it was all positive. Like I just loved everything about how it was so effective in being so disturbing and so dark, but not having to go to the most extreme lengths to achieve it. It was like effortless. I just thought it was all so impressive.
Yeah. There's not too many movies that I can think of off the top of my head that kind of gave me that feeling. The last like theater experience where I remember like the movie kind of making me feel really weird after I saw it was probably Annihilation. I kind of felt weird after that movie, but
Yeah, that's very reasonable.
that movie was I didn't know what to expect with that one, so it really surprised me with what they did. But there's not too many horror movies just because I'm so knowledgeable and like I know about the genre. It takes a lot for like a movie to really scare me. And I'm not like this movie doesn't terrify me. It scares me with how realistic it is because like I know that like this wasn't like based off like a direct thing that happened, but like it was based off. I know it was based off one serial killer. I don't remember who it was. Um, a lot of serial killers were based off of him. I think it was like, was it? No, that was the It guy. I don't remember who it was, but
It was
this feels like
Ed Gein, I
Ed Gein.
believe.
Yeah, it was Ed Gein. I don't remember exactly what it. I think he was like a cannibal murder though. I know he inspired like Psycho, Halloween, and this. So, yeah,
Right, yeah.
pretty fucked up guy. But this feels like something that could genuinely happen. And I think the characters, while are pretty, they're pretty dull, script writing wise. They don't really have too much character besides the situations they're in, which I can like you can harp the film on that for sure, but I don't think the film was ever made to have good characters. It was more for the situation and like the experiences that they were going through in this short amount of time. Because even the plot, it literally is just they like go to a house and like they go to like this other house and like there's just they get brutally murdered. There's not like really much of a plot. There's no like secondary plot. There's no like um it doesn't really feel like a movie because there's no like cliches really. Besides, I guess maybe the teenagers kind of being stupid, but you know it was the '70s in Texas and kids are not really smart. So,
Yeah. I mean, it's a it's very straightforward and very to the point. Like you said, with like the pretty short running time, it's just the plot itself. It's kind of bare, but that's in
which
service to it. I think because it's
it's
just
just
these events that are happening, and they just become more and more. It's more like miserable in a sense that these characters are going through something horrible. And it's like if I had to have if I had one problem with the film, it would probably be the character decision slash writing is not perfect, but like I really think it applies the best that it can in this movie because these characters. I don't like there's nothing that they do that I'm like okay no person would ever do this like there's something that I'm like okay that's kind of dumb but like
but
everything
like
they do like it's just like they're innocent kids you know they're just trying to enjoy life. They're young. They do what they do, and it eventually leads down a horrible path that leads to brutal murder. And something about that is just so haunting
yeah,
and so endearing.
I can excuse those characters' actions because like you know nowadays picking up a random hitchhiker is like considered not really a smart idea, but like in the '70s it was kind of whatever.
Yeah,
And they did kick him out of the car, so it's not like they were completely stupid. The one character decision I do not understand was I don't remember what his name was, but the first guy that died. I don't know how stupid you are just to walk into some random person's house in like the backcountry of Texas. Why would you do that?
yeah, that
Even
just
if there
didn't make
wasn't
any
like
sense.
cannibalistic murderers, like there still could be somebody that's like beat the fuck out of you because you just walked into their house unannounced. Um, Also, if I see a fucking big like cellar door in the back that looks like a meat locker, I'm not going in there. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I don't know why that's the first door you go to. Also, that one scene where like the girl like falls into that one room with like all like the dead animals and like the human like skin shit. That was extremely fucking disturbing. And like when she was like put on that meat hook and like watched like I'm assuming that was her boyfriend get like chopped into bits. That was really fucked up. And how the kid in the wheelchair, what was his name? Was it Mickey? No,
Yeah.
I don't remember his name.
Gary?
Gary, I think. The way that he died was really fucked up. I didn't see that coming. That was
Yeah.
actually a very good jump scare. That was a very good jump scare. And
Yeah, all the scares are very effective
there's
in this
even
movie. I think they're
smaller.
all
There
played.
was even smaller scare like scares, I guess, that were kind of just really fucked up. Like when I think he's called the cook, like the older guy.
Yeah.
When he has Sally in his truck and like he's just like telling her to calm down, everything's gonna be all right, and then he just like keeps like fucking stabbing her with like a broom handle and laughing. It's just so fucking. It's not even like it's just not. It's not like it's like gross or like scary. It's just fucking really demented and fucked up, and it's weird to say that like I love the film for that, but like I do. Like I really, this is like definitely one of my favorite horror movies, but like I don't really see myself like going on my way to rewatch it as much as other horror movies. But like this is definitely like a movie to like watch every once in a while just for how well it executes everything. And you know this movie's like almost 50 years old, and it's pretty much just as effective as it probably was back when it came out. At least I would say. I mean, if you show this to any person, they're gonna feel weird. They're not gonna really. It's dated, like the movie's dated, but like it's kind of like made to feel that way because it's not like it doesn't feel like movies in the 70s. It just kind of feels like this isolated experience that could really happen to like any group of people. Because like there are people out here like this, maybe not this extreme, like wearing human faces, but it's definitely like a real part of society. And the fact, just like when you like really like look into this movie, it really confuses me why this ever had sequels and a franchise. And I don't know too much about the sequels. I know some stuff. You know more about them than me, but like I don't really get how there's any more of a story to pull from this that wouldn't just kind of feel unnecessary and kind of just derivative of this movie.
Yeah. I definitely agree. As I said earlier, this is one of my favorite movies ever. It's absolutely one of my favorites. I definitely agree with you with the. I'm not going to be super quick to revisit this film, and I think that's just a testament to how effective it really is because it gets under your skin in ways that. I mean, like if you're watching a horror movie, it's you would want it to be horrifying, and it absolutely is in all the best ways. Everything about it's fantastic. Toby Hooper is one of my favorite filmmakers. I think he's fantastic. And this really is like his film. He wrote, directed, produced, composed. He did so much. And Daniel Pearl was the cinematographer, and the cinematography is absolutely beautiful. There's so many beautiful shots. I think are done perfectly. Um, the score is fantastic. All the music is so haunting. Like audio wise, it really contributes so much to like what makes the film so effective. There's so many different moments like that. Um, just with every scene that passes by, I feel that like everything that's happening is deliberate, and it makes me feel more and more. It increases my unease. It increases the tension, and everything is just it's all perfect. I really do think it is. It's one of the best horror movies I've ever seen. I've considered it maybe even the greatest horror film I've ever seen, as far as like actually being a horrific, horrible in a good way type of movie. It's fantastic. I absolutely love it. I adore it so much. It's there's just so many things to love about it. There's so many things that were done well, and every time I watch it, it's just I even like notice I notice more and more details about like little things that like some things that the characters say that like comes up later in the film and different things like that. All the dynamics, everything was
The kid in the
just
wheelchair was like actually right the whole time, and just nobody listened to him. They treat him like shit, which I know it's because it's the '70s, and that's how people treated disabled people generally. But like, why would you make him go on this road trip if he's literally just like a fifth wheel? You won't even like take him inside the house. Like, what the fuck?
right. Yeah.
Also, why did they? Like, I know like they knew the guy that owned the house or whatever, but like, there was nothing in that house that would be worthwhile. They're like, go in the house and like this thing's like literally like dilapidated, like infested with like rats and like spiders and like just outer complete fucking mess. And they're just like casually like joking about it, like, oh yeah, we're gonna sleep in this room. We're gonna have fun in this room. Like, why? Why? Just go get gas. Um, there's some very good. I don't know if it's foreshadowing, but like when you realize that at the beginning when they try to get gas and they say they're out of gas, but then we realize at the end he was like the cook, and you realize that he was probably just lying about the gas the whole time. It kind of makes it more. It would definitely make it more interesting to rewatch it now, knowing that. And like, I don't know if there was any meaning behind the symbol he put on the car. I don't know if that was actually supposed to mean anything. I don't know. Maybe that gets explained in another movie, but like, nothing really happened with that. I don't think, unless I missed it. But also the Leatherface's mask is very fucking hard to look at. Leatherface is a hard character to look at.
So disturbing.
He's a slasher. He's not my favorite slasher just because I don't really like to think about him, but he's definitely one of the best ones, I would think, just because of how effective he is. And surprisingly, he doesn't use his chainsaw like on anybody that much in this movie. The final shot of him in the film, which is what I have as the background right now, it's a really great way to end the movie. And having Sally get away and like that, it was interesting because they showed like her trauma in the span of like a few seconds of her like screaming but then like laughing as she got away as like a coping mechanism. That was very well done, because another thing about this movie was that the whole cast was like film students. Like none of these were like recognized actors, and like they barely got paid anything for this movie.
Yeah,
and they all give really well. They give really good performances for how inexperienced they are. So I think a lot of them, this is like their first like bigger role in a film. Because I mean, I don't know where their careers went after this. None of them. I haven't really seen them in anything. I know the guy that played Leatherface and the girl that played Sally are both dead.
Yeah.
Which is kind of weird that they're bringing that character back, but like they recasted her.
I don't know. So she was also an American Psycho, that actress.
I haven't seen that one. I should check that one out. But
absolutely, you should.
Also, I know Tobe Hooper's dead too. I don't know. He died like a few years ago, I think. Which I know he directed Poltergeist, but like he also didn't direct Poltergeist. There's like a whole situation with that, and
yeah, Poltergeist is a complicated situation, but
I know he directed.
I mean, I love Tobe Hooper.
Didn't he direct the second Texas Chainsaw as well?
Yeah, he also did the second one, and the second one. Here's the thing: I agree with you. It shouldn't be a franchise. There should not have ever been a sequel. There was a sequel though, and Tobe Hooper, he wanted to take a completely different direction, because Texas Chainsaw 2, it's like a full on like horror comedy. It's really wacky, and it like plays into a lot of like the weirdness. Which it's also a bit longer. It's about an hour 40, and it's definitely not good. But I still enjoy it quite a bit, because like I like how he didn't want to make the same movie. He didn't see the point of making a sequel if he's just gonna be like trying to lean on what he already did before. So he went a completely different direction with the characters. I think that's what he liked the most, was like the family that went into it. So That's what the second one was, and it's definitely the most successful of all the follow-ups. And then there's the rest of the franchise, and there's not a single redeemable film to follow. So
Yeah, I've heard so
that's
many bad things. I mean, I'll probably check out the other films at some point. I don't think I want to watch them alone though. I kind of want to laugh at them, but
yeah,
yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's something we could do this summer or some point. I don't know, but the only because there's a second one I know that. Then they made like a third one, and then there was that fourth one that was like with Matthew McConaughey for some reason. And then
so bad.
there was the remake and the remake prequel, I think.
Yep, and then there was a requel-ish thing, like a direct sequel that ignored all the others that also had a prequel.
Because I always confused because I thought Leatherface was a prequel to the original. Maybe.
Yeah, because it's in the same continuity as Texas Chainsaw 3D.
Yeah, but like Leatherface was like direct to DVD, I think, because I think Texas Chainsaw 3D was the last like theatrical one. Because this new one that's come out, I know that one's a direct sequel to the original, is going straight to Netflix because it was supposed to go to theaters, but I guess the test screenings were so bad, the studio sold it to Netflix so they would make at least some profit. So I'm not really expecting much out of this new one.
Yeah, me either.
It's gonna be kind of unique because you've seen all of them, and when I watch this new one, all I will have to compare is this one. So. We'll have to see how that goes. I hope that one's just watchable at most. The trailer was not very impressive, especially now seeing this movie.
I'm not excited personally.
Yeah, I mean, like the bus massacre scene looks like it might be fun, just like a slasher murder sense, but like nothing else looks interesting about that movie.
No.
There's also a severe lack of any family. Of the family, because it seems like it's just Leatherface, and like I think a lot of the films do that, and I don't know why, because like Leatherface is interesting, but it's kind of like it's the family that are the fucked up stuff, and Leatherface is a part of the family. If you can't really have just Leatherface, because then you don't really have much of a villain, because he's just like a force of nature, and it's not in the way of like Michael Myers, where I feel like he's just like the pure embodiment of evil. Leatherface is like the complete. He encompasses the entire nature versus nurture debate in serial killers, and he's much more of a pedestal for the horror element than he is the main horror element, and it doesn't really make sense to have him be the main horror element, because if you just have the family, then it's just kind of like this weird psychological film, but Leatherface enhances it, and if you have just Leatherface, you don't have the family to enhance the horror and making Leatherface much more of a special character to watch, because he's very limited in this movie with what he does, but when he's there, he leaves an impact. But if you had like a whole hour and a half film with just him as the villain, I feel like you just get tired of him and get sick of him. So I don't know why the sequels made such a focus on just one or the other. Just sounds kind of stupid. I mean, that's just what I thought.
Yeah, no, I agree with that for sure. My love and affinity for the first film is very strong. So, and then I've seen the whole franchise, and honestly, it's such a mess that it's actually just kind of fun to talk about because.
Would you say it's like the worst, like the classics getting a franchise is like the worst horror franchise?
Probably. Yes.
I guess Jason has pretty bad movies, but they're like consistent and they're kind of like campy. So.
It's pretty close because, well, I don't know, because the thing with the Texas Chainsaw, well, the Friday the 13th franchise is terrible, and I think there's only one redeemable film in that entire franchise, and that's obviously Part 6, Jason Lives. And I think the rest are just completely awful. I don't even think Jason Lives is that good. It's just kind of enjoyable. And with Texas Chainsaw, I think there's one masterpiece, one solid follow-up from a passionate director. But then the rest of it is so like confusing and it's so nonsensical. It doesn't make sense and unnecessary that like I can at least enjoy the campiness of the Friday like franchise because like whatever, like they just keep making the same thing, like whatever. With Texas Chainsaw, it's like when they try new things, they did it horribly, or it was boring, or something like that, or they tried to redo the same thing and that just doesn't work.
When they're bad.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'd say it's closer.
From what it sounds like, I guess at least you can give this franchise credit for like always trying something kind of new. I mean, I guess a lot of people really like the remake, and some people I've heard even like the remake more than the original. It seems like the Texas Chainsaw remake is like one of the few horror remakes where it's like generally well received by like most audiences. I haven't seen it. I just know it's fairly well liked compared to like A Nightmare on Elm Street or like Rob Zombie's Halloween. So
yeah, that's true. I'd even say that I prefer it like as a remake to those two. It's still pretty bad, but you know.
yeah, because there's like one YouTuber I follow. His favorite Texas Chainsaw is the remake for some reason. His favorite Friday 13th is the remake for some reason. He likes Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 for some reason. But yeah, isn't like Leatherface and Michael? They're the only ones that have like an actual continuation of the remakes because like all the other ones just like failed abysmally.
Yeah, it's true. Also, it was one of the earliest like horror remakes of like the like famous horror films. Yeah, 03.
Yeah.
So, which like there wasn't like the trend of like the other one. I mean, like there wasn't a few years later. There was Halloween in 07, and then you had 09 and 10.
It was the beginning of when Michael Bay was like producing all these horror remakes because he produced this one. He produced the Texas Chainsaw remake, then he produced the Friday the 13th remake, and then he produced the Nightmare remake. I don't know what the fuck was up with that, but I don't like it. But yeah, I mean, we'll go into more discussion about those other franchises someday.
Honestly, when it comes to the original, all I gotta say really is what if you boil down what makes it so great is that there are two factors. Naive teens coming across the sudden realization that the world is an unrelentingly evil and cruel place, and the immediate terror of that realization getting increasingly worse beyond even the most dangerous imagination.
It's so...
There's no rhyme or reason to the horror. It's just purely sadistic people who will murder and torture you for the thrill.
Yeah, that's the thing. There's absolutely no motivation. It's not like... it's not like Freddy Krueger where it's like it's a supernatural aspect, or like Friday the 13th where it's like whatever the fuck that was, and like Halloween where it's like every single one of these you can kind of like suspend your disbelief and know that like it's not generally something that's going to happen. I mean, maybe the first Halloween I would say, but like this one is like genuinely it's like it's so like real, like you can really put yourself in the situation. Like I'm pretty sure we've all had the experience of like, have I walked past a serial killer, or like if you see a hitchhiker, it's like, would that person have like tried to kill me if I interacted with them? And we've all been past creepy houses or like creepy people. I mean, I was at school one day and I had a random guy come up to me and try to get me and my friend, he was like talking about putting us into like sex trafficking for some reason. I don't know. There's so many fucking weird people. And this movie is just terrifying for how, if like I heard a story of like if this movie happened in real life, it's not that far-fetched to me. I mean, sure, Leatherface as a character is a bit out there. I mean, he's a big, bulking, presumably.
He's a bit of an exaggeration of the realistic.
But like the family, the other parts of the family are genuinely. There's people out there like that, and I mean, I guess the grandpa. I mean, that part, it was eerie and it was creepy, but like it seemed kind of out there. I don't know how that guy was still alive. But like that dinner scene, which we haven't really discussed, that dinner scene was probably the most fucked up part of that movie. And
it was hardcore. I love that scene. It's so good.
And it took because I watched like a retrospective on this movie like a few days ago. Apparently, it took like 27 hours to film that scene or something. Like the people on set were like actually going insane while making this movie. It was very similar to The Shining, I guess, where it's like on set, the film was kind of inspiring the set and kind of making everybody go insane. And it really pulled through, I guess, in the final product. Because it sounds like this film had a really troubled production overall.
Yeah, it's true.
And it's inspired so many movies. I mean, it still gets brought up to this day. I mean, Leatherface is iconic. He's considered one of the best slashers. And I guess...
Yeah, he's in Mortal Kombat now, so...
He is?
Yeah.
That's fine, I guess. But, I don't know. I mean, he's not really franchise potential. He's just kind of like a one and done. It's very similar to, like, I guess, Norman Bates, where it's like he's a really great, like, horror character, but, like, I guess he's just not as big as, like, the other ones that have had, like, multi-spanning franchise films that, like, have had some good films, I guess. I mean, Halloween hasn't really had many good films besides the first one, but it's much more well-known and has much more to, like, talk about story-wise than, I guess,
Halloween 3 is a masterpiece.
Halloween 3 is a masterpiece. It's fine. I mean, I think it's a great 80s movie, but, like, I don't know.
Masterpiece.
I don't know if I'd say it's a masterpiece by any means.
The masterpiece.
Which Halloween 3 is 40 years old this year, so there's that. This movie turns 50 in like 2 years.
That's absolutely insane to me.
Halloween's gonna be like 50 years in like 6 years.
Yeah.
The Shining as well. I mean, yeah. I mean, I guess this. I give this a 5 out of 5 because I guess it's as a movie. I guess it's more like a 4.5. But like, for what it was, this is one of those films where, like, I would say the experience outbeats the filmmaking. And I don't really think most films should be held to that, because there's a lot of people that give, like, Malignant, they say it's a good movie because it wasn't trying to be, so they love it. But, like, this film, I think it went in with the intention of just being, like, this horrific experience caught on film, and as that, it's a 5 out of 5 for that. One of the best horror films ever made. I think it'll always be. Even if the franchise just continues to be terrible. It'd be really nice if they could actually make a good Texas Chainsaw again, but, like, it seems like it's genuinely not possible. So
I don't think there's a way to replicate it. Really don't.
You could bring back Tobe Hooper from the dead, and I don't know if you'd be able to make another good one. So it's similar to other franchises. Like, I don't think you'll ever beat that original Nightmare on Elm Street. I don't think you'll ever beat that original Halloween. I don't think, like, I love Doctor Sleep, but, like, you're never going to beat The Shining. It's just kind of like, it's just a classic, and with how this film was made and how it was genuinely just supposed to be a terrifying experience, you can't really just have that terrifying experience again. I think it's kind of like the perfect way to say it. So I think definitely check out this one. I mean, I guess if you really love this one and want more, I guess check out the other ones. I don't know.
The second one. The second one's fine. The rest, though,
I've heard pretty nice things on the second one. I thought about checking it out before we did this podcast, but I just didn't end up getting to it. But I did hear about one scene which kind of was weird. Like Leatherface, like, coming or something, and, like, I don't know. That's just kind of weird. Very weird movie. I always knew about the chili scene where, like, I guess the cook, like, sells. He's, like, winning, like, cooking competitions for his, like, little human meat. That's kind of funny, but
yeah, because it's tasty.
Really fucking morbid, though. That's fucking morbid as shit.
No, that's fine.
I don't even know what. I've never heard anything about the third one. Does like anything happen in that movie?
Things do happen, but I couldn't tell you what, because it's probably the most forgettable horror film I've ever seen. Like, actually, like, it's so nothing. It's so bare bones.
I know the Next Generation is, like, actually terrible because it's like almost, like, so bad it's, like, hilarious to watch. So
it is hilarious to watch. Oh my god, Matthew McConaughey. There was one point where a publicist for Matthew McConaughey tried to buy the rights to the film so that they could make sure it would never be shown anywhere and no one could ever see that he was in it. So if that gives you any, like, reference to,
I've seen some clips of that one just because, like, I saw, like, somebody review it. It looked like just like an absolute dumpster fire. But like it's a dumpster fire you can't not look at. So, and
Right.
I know there's like a prequel to the remake. I don't really know what story that is. Like, what was that even? Was it like an origin story for Leatherface? Is that what it was?
It kind of, yeah. It's kind of like an origin story for like that whole family in that timeline ish.
Was it
Uh,
even good? I know
they,
some people like it, but
I mean, there were some elements to it that were fine, but it was pretty bad overall.
I've heard Texas Chainsaw 3D is like pretty bad. I heard like it has
Uh,
like timeline inconsistencies because it's supposed to take place like 20 years after the first one, which would make it like in the 90s. But then like all the police have like cell phones.
yeah, and like the main character, I can't remember exactly what it was, but like the main character
She's that girl
is
from San Andreas, isn't she? That one girl with the big tits.
I think you're right about that.
Yeah. Um, wasn't
But
she
like
like
what I
Leatherface's cousin or something? I know. I've seen the clip where she says that one line where she's like do what you do, cuz, and I was like, shut up, shut up.
yeah, yeah, like his cousin, but like it's supposed to be referenced that like she was like born around like as like one time or whatever. But like the actress is like she's like 25 or so, and like but like based on what they're saying, she would have been like in 2013 when the film was released, she would already be like in her like 50s or something. So it just doesn't make any sense. Like nothing like timeline wise makes literally any sense. It is so terrible. Texas Chainsaw 3D is a complete and utter failure. Like it is so bad.
And I remember when Leatherface was coming out, people were like kind of interested in it because it sounded like an interesting idea. But then like when it came out, everybody was like, "This is like the worst way you could have executed this idea."
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Because it was like another prequel, and it was like the whole like plot was like, "Oh, there's like four characters that escape. Which one's gonna be Leatherface by the end?" And it's like the one that makes the least sense, or something like that. Um, I don't know why they go to prequels so much. And this new one, I guess the idea of I guess it could be good, but like it just seems like they don't know what they're doing. Um, and like the Leatherface is now like 70 at this point, and it's like I can accept older serial killers. Like I can accept Michael Myers like in his 60s still killing people. If like Robert Englund played Freddy again, I could accept it. But like Leatherface is like this inbred, mentally deficient 70-year-old. I feel like he might need to retire. It's just my personal opinion. Um,
Just that's that.
yeah. Also, he just it looks so it looks so empty. I don't see much life in it. So and they doing the fucking Halloween 2018 shit where it's like 50 years ago. My old pal Leatherface is back, and it's like what? It makes no sense in the context of this movie because she just seems so happy to get away from Leatherface. Why would she want to like go back to that at all? I think if you were in that situation, the most you'd want to do is move as far away from Texas and just live like a normal life. So it doesn't make sense for her to be like a Laurie Strode character. Um, I get wanting to bring that character back, but like, why would you bring her back in literally just like the carbon copy Laurie Strode framework when, to be honest, it barely works for Laurie Strode as well. Just Jamie Lee Curtis can act good. So I don't know why they think that they can just do this in a direct to Netflix Texas Chainsaw movie, but whatever. We'll see how it goes. I'm kind of interested in what they'll do, but like it doesn't look that good. So
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's happening, so I will see. I'm a completionist. I've seen all the films, so it's just how it goes. As far as the original goes, I absolutely adore it. I always think back to the first time I saw it. It was at a sleepover. It was like 1 a.m. It was a film that we rented. I was like, oh, I've always heard about this one, and I couldn't sleep that night after watching it.
oh really?
It just reminded me, yeah, just how effective it
It's
really
hard to
was.
not think about it afterwards, which is really good for a movie in general. Because like I thought about Halloween for a while after I first saw it. I thought about The Shining for a while after I saw it. There's very few movies
The
that like
Shining for sure.
there's generally like I can only really name like a handful of movies that like really stuck with me after I saw them. Um, in a way like I couldn't get them out of my head. Um, who'd you watch? Did you watch it with somebody?
Yeah, I watched it with an old pal.
Oh, I thought it was like Tommy or something.
No, it was before I even knew Tommy actually.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish I got to finish this movie when I was younger. I guess my parents were so bored by this movie they fell asleep, and then when they woke up, it was like the last 40 minutes, and they just turned it off. And I said I want to finish it. They're like, "Oh, we'll just finish it tomorrow," and then they never finished it with me. So,
Just never watched it, which is a real
I guess they thought it was like
crime.
the
It's such a
remake,
good
and I was
movie.
like, I don't know why you're confusing it because this also happened with a Nightmare on Elm Street where they rented at Family Video. They only had one Nightmare on Elm Street movie, and it was the remake. They only had that one, and my parents. I told them I was like, "This looks like a modern movie. This is probably the remake." And they're like, "Oh, it's the same thing." So the first Nightmare on Elm Street film I saw was the remake. That was my first experience with the character. What a
It's
terrible
horrible.
experience. After
It's
that, I
so
quickly I
horrible.
quickly watched the Robert Englund ones, and I gained much more respect for the character. Um,
That's awful. That is just awful.
yeah. Um, Luckily, with Halloween, they actually had me watch the original, not the Rob Zombie one. So we're good there. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, dude, that's just
I don't know why Family Video only had one Nightmare on Elm Street movie. They also only had like the first three Halloween films, which I rented. I have a really positive experience because the way I watched the first three Halloween films was like actively going out to like a video rental store and renting them. I don't know, that's always it's nice to think about. And they had the Rob Zombie one. Um,
that's awesome. That's how it was for me with this movie, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
yeah. There's a lot of movies that I rented and watched for the first time, and yeah, it's a nice experience to do that. I feel like there might have been another one. I can't remember. I don't know, but it might have been Alien. I might have rented that one the first time I saw it. Wait, no, never mind. Yeah, I was, yeah, it was always fun because we would go to Family Video like the week after, and I was like, oh, I want to get the next Halloween one. And when I ran out of Halloween films to watch, I got the box set and like I marathoned the original 8 ones like over the span of a few days. Um, yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think I still like Halloween over this movie. That's just my personal preference. Um, I like John Carpenter's directing much more, and I like the characters a bit more in that movie. Um, but as like a horror movie, this is better. But yeah,
I probably completely agree with that. I think I prefer Halloween, but I would acknowledge Texas Chainsaw Massacre as a better
it's
film
close.
because
It's
it is.
close. I mean, I like The Shining more than both those movies. The Thing's up there too. Uh,
Yeah, those are all. Those are like those and Alien really and Jaws make up like my horror catalog of like my absolute favorites. So
there was a lot of good movies in the '70s and like
there
early
was like the
'80s.
like the 70s and early 80s, just so many good horror
I mean,
movies.
Nightmare on Elm Street's probably
Those are
top
the
10
gold
as
mode.
well. I always kind of forget about that one, but
What?
the first Nightmare on Elm Street's probably in the top 10 as well. Not
Yeah, I'd
probably,
say
not
so.
probably. It is. I don't know where at though exactly, but
I also love The Evil Dead a lot. That's one that gets a lot less recognition.
I
But
still need to watch that. I'll probably try to watch that soon so we can cover it. But
yeah, absolutely fantastic. Love The Evil Dead.
we should probably
But
cover
yeah,
that whenever this new one comes out.
yeah, Evil Dead Rise. I still don't know when that's
Have you seen the show?
Ash versus Evil Dead.
Yeah,
Like an episode, not that much though.
I heard it's really good.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of good things about it. So
It got canceled after 3 seasons.
yeah,
Yeah.
but the Evil Dead franchise would be a great one to talk about. I have a lot. There's a lot to say about those. That had like a trilogy that was
Even the
yeah, that'd be
even
real
that
fun to talk
remake
about.
is generally well liked, I think. So, um,
Yeah, it is for some reason. It's not very good. I don't know why
which
people like
the
it so much.
director of that is producing this new Texas Chainsaw, so people had hope, but then like the trailer came out, so um,
Right? Yeah.
then again, he made Don't Breathe, the director of the Evil Dead remake, and then he like produced Don't Breathe 2. So he doesn't pick the best projects all the time. So
Yeah,
I haven't seen Don't Breathe though. I heard it's all right.
it's okay. It's whatever.
Yeah, I mean the trailer was good. uh, do you want? We've been talking for like an hour. But like anyway, 5 out of
Yeah,
5. We have one more movie to
yeah,
talk about if you still want to talk about that.
yeah. I'm down to. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, easy 10 out of 10 from me. Um, Now we can talk about a film that's arguably even better, and it's only arguably because people could technically argue anything. It's actually much worse. Um, but we probably won't talk about it for very long because I don't see why anyone would ever talk about this movie for very long. But it's Click, starring Adam Sandler. Absolute classic. Don't you love Click, Matthew?
Um, I know this movie's terrible, but I actually really like the concept. So I don't hate this movie. I think it has a few good comedic elements, but honestly, this movie would be much better off as like a full-on serious movie that is a little less Adam Sandler-y. I feel like if they did like a Click 2 or whatever and actually made like a serious movie with this concept, it could be like a lot more interesting and a lot more thoughtful. I don't know why
I think it
this.
have a.
I don't know why
I
this
think
was a
it has
comedy.
potential to start.
I don't know why this was a comedy. I guess like there's certain situations where this could be funny, like when he like beats up his boss or whatever. But like this is like an interesting concept for a movie, but I feel like this is like one of the examples where like Adam Sandler just kind of like ruined it.
He really Sandlered it up and made it fall flat on
Because
its
like
face.
not to like play devil's advocate, but like Pixels was terrible. But like the simple idea of having like video game characters like attack Earth could have been good, but no, it was terrible.
Pretty bad.
He like picks plots that might be kind of interesting and just like makes them bad. Like even Grown Ups, where it's like, like a group of um, adults like meeting up again and like having like a similar summer to when they were like teenagers. Like that could be like a very like fun and like entertaining and like thoughtful like adult drama, but then it's just like this very like raunchy and not funny comedy. Um, I don't know. I have a lot of problems with Adam Sandler as an actor. I know people love him. Like Allie will just randomly watch like Adam Sandler comedies that are just like only on Netflix. I don't know why. Um, I don't find myself gravitating to his films that much because they're
Well,
just
Adam
not.
Sandler is very popular, very well known, very
He
famous
seems like a good guy. I
comedian.
mean, I'm not. Just his movies are not that good.
And yeah, I'm sure he's like a. I mean, he's like most of the comedies that he's done. Like he's just done a lot of crap. He's just been a lot of just stupid schlock that just doesn't work and it's not funny. He has been in a couple good movies, so we'll give him some credit, and he does have a couple good performances.
Yeah, I
Not
know like
many.
Uncut Gems. I haven't seen that, but like that's generally considered like one of his best performances.
Uncut Gems, rather good. Punch Drunk Love, the Paul Thomas Anderson movie is actually very good, and he does very good in that film. Uh, but like he's so well known for all these like stupid comedies that he does, and like even his most famous ones, like Billy Madison, is like kind of funny, but like it's overall just really mid-ish. And then Happy Gilmore is also like a really bad movie. Like it's there's so many terrible elements to it. Uh, and then he's in a lot of other movies that he so much stuff that like it really seems like he was just trying to get a paycheck. Like I don't know like what he's doing.
Yeah. Um, Again,
Click though,
he seems like a nice
masterpiece.
guy. I mean, this is one of his better, I guess, comedies. I don't know. I think just the concept kind of makes it a little bit better, easier to watch. There's some actual like heartfelt scenes kind of towards the end, where like when he's like dying and like his kids, and like he realized that like he wasn't like I guess the lesson of this movie about like embracing the life, even the boring parts of it. It is kind of that's a good message. It's kind of powerful, but like it's just kind of like presented ham-fistedly and it's kind of rushed just to be comedic. And there's some very dark scenes like with his dad dying and like losing his wife and his kids, and they're just kind of like they'll start to like actually be like something new and interesting and like actually kind of deep, and then they just kind of like resort back to this comedy. This movie just constantly feels like it's afraid of like being what it is and like embracing its concepts.
Yeah,
Which is
I
why,
can see that.
which is why I would feel like this would work much better if they actually like took the concept seriously. Um,
Yeah, but it was taken seriously and more of like a full-on drama that didn't involve Adam Sandler, or at least not in a comedic tone. Because this movie isn't funny, and it's supposed to be, but I really don't think it's that funny.
yeah, I feel like I don't know why I thought of this after I saw it, but I was like, the only way they could do like an actual serious version of this movie and like actually make money is if they like had like a serious drama, but like how like Christopher Walken was like for some reason like the sentient part of the remote. They just change it so Adam Sandler is, so they can still sell it as an Adam Sandler movie. Um, but yeah, and like the weird comedic bits with Christopher Walken. I mean, it was. I mean, I guess they kind of have a dynamic off of each other. It was just kind of weird though. There's also this weird gag where like he just like verbally abuses his neighbor's kid, and it's weird. I don't know why they put that in the movie. Also, the kids are annoying in this movie. Adam Sandler's a terrible dad in like every movie he's in. That's like
None of the characters are likable at all.
that's like every lesson he has in these movies is like about being a good dad. It's just like, dude.
It's so cliche, it's stupid and boring and not funny and terrible.
This movie just feels dated. Not just because
Yeah, it was released in 2006, which was weird to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was a bit older. I thought it was like 2002 or something.
About the like remote, like it's like this weird blue like thing, but like doesn't look like any remote for TV that's like ever existed.
I don't know, it's so stupid. It's all really stupid, and I like
the one joke where he's like for some reason there's like special features of his life, and he's like, oh, the making of feature, this might be kind of cool, and he just like sees his parents having sex. That was kind of funny.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. Well, because like they really could explore that whole universal remote concept in an interesting, serious way. I think it would take a really good script, like a really good script to work, but I think it could work. This movie itself, it just feels like you were saying, how like a lot of it feels rushed, and like how it's more like it's just gonna be played off as comedic, so it can make as much money as possible, and then it just happens. And it did have some interesting elements to it, I will give it that, but overall, it just kind of falls flat. It's just whatever. I don't really care.
It just didn't click with me.
If you make one more pun about a film that we're discussing that involves the title of the film, I swear to you, I swear, I will be done and I will leave. I will just be done.
You gotta admit that was a good one.
No.
Honestly, it could be interesting if they like a modern day like version of this. Like remotes are like a bit more advanced now. So like, what if they added new buttons? I don't know. I guess that could be kind of cool. Like, what happens if you have a click remote that has like streaming buttons? Like, what happened if you like tried to stream with like a click remote? What would that show? Would that show like different? That would it show if you hit like if you like did a stream? Why am I thinking of ideas for this? If you like. What if you hit the streaming buttons and like it showed alternate versions of your life? I don't know. Do something with that.
Going really in depth with Click right now.
Yeah, I have a lot of things to say about Click. In a lot of ways, it just kind of clicked with me.
You already did that.
Honestly,
you did it like 2 minutes ago.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre really it massacred my emotions. You could say like
in Texas, honestly.
Yeah, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
This next one, there's no the.
Yeah, that's kind of dumb. But then again, Halloween has a direct sequel called Halloween, so I'm not gonna shade on it too much. I swear to God, if they make another Nightmare on Elm Street and it's like a direct sequel to the original, and they just call it Nightmare on Elm Street instead of a Nightmare on Elm Street, I might pull my hair out.
It'd be so bad.
Or just call it like Nightmare on Elm.
Just Nightmare.
Freddy.
Let's call it Krueger. What if they made a film called Krueger?
You know they almost made a prequel of a Nightmare on Elm Street movie. Like Robert Englund like pitched it, and they almost made it.
What? How?
It was gonna be called like Krueger or something. It was gonna be like just called like Freddy Krueger or something. It was gonna be like a prequel about like him just murdering kids or something.
That's so odd. I don't know why.
Apparently the script was actually good, and like it just got canceled for some reason. And like Robert Englund really wanted to make it in like the '90s or something. This was like before Freddy's Dead, I think. So clearly they went with the wrong script, but
They went the wrong way. They went the very, very, very wrong direction.
Freddy's Dead is actually terrible. Freddy's Dead actually physically hurts me.
Awful.
God, the Power Glove.
What?
The Power Glove. Remember the Power Glove?
Oh, you said the Power Glove. Yeah.
And I do a quick movie of that. The Power Glove.
Super Freddy. Super Freddy sucks.
True, he does suck. Did you see Dead Meat's new podcast where they talk about their wedding and Scream?
I did. It was very nice. It was a very nice episode where they talked a little bit about Scream and then they talked about their wedding.
I forgot to mention Scream 6 is officially like happening and like filming this summer.
Yeah, really weird. They went pretty quick into that. I guess they're looking to revive it as a franchise, but
they must have had a plan. I'm assuming. So hopefully it's actually good. So.
Yeah, I guess we'll see. I liked this new one from this year. It was pretty okay. It was pretty good. So I guess we'll see where they go with that from there.
I gotta bring back Stu, you know.
I'm just waiting for the Click sequel because Click 2, the Clickening, is going to be the clickiest click that ever clicked.
I will write Click 2 and I will find a way to send it to Adam Sandler.
Adam Sandler can write and direct. It's all good.
Just let me supervise and make sure he doesn't Adam Sandler.
Supervise. Let's put together concepts.
I will drop out of college if it means I get to be involved in a Hollywood production of Adam Sandler. I don't care.
I don't even like Adam Sandler that much, and I would do that because that means money for sure.
Yeah, and if it's good, then like you'll get hired for more stuff. So there we go.
Well, but it has to be good and involve Adam Sandler, which is very hard to do. It's only happened like twice. So
twice? What would you say? What's the twice? Uncut Gems and
Punch Drunk Love.
What's that movie? I never heard of that.
You can probably look it up. You've heard of Paul Thomas Anderson, right?
Yeah, oh, did Adam Sandler do a Paul Thomas Anderson movie?
Yeah, he was. It's like a romantic kind of comedy. He actually gives a good performance.
Damn, that's surprising actually. Yeah, I haven't seen too many Paul Thomas Anderson movies. Didn't he do that Fantastic Mr. Fox?
That was Wes Anderson.
Oh, I'm thinking of Wes Anderson. There's like too many.
There's too many Andersons. Paul Thomas, Wes. Just kidding. But yeah.
There's also the one that does Resident Evil movies. I think he's like W.S. Anderson.
Yeah.
Because I was confused because like Alien vs. Predator said like W.S. Anderson. I was like, wait, did the guy that like did all those like apparently really good movies make this? I was like, oh, it's the guy that did Resident Evil movies. That makes sense.
Yeah, W.S. Anderson and Wes Anderson. Paul Thomas Anderson did There Will Be Blood.
Also, did you
Phantom Thread, Licorice Pizza, Boogie Nights.
This is really off tangent, but did you know that instead, like, there was two options for the next Alien movie when they made Alien vs. Predator. So the studio had this makes me glad that like 20th Century Fox is not a thing anymore because they had two options at the time. They said they either had to make Alien vs. Predator with Paul W.S. Anderson, who made the Resident Evil movies, which was bad, or at the same time, Ridley Scott was in talks to direct Alien 5, written by James Cameron. They had the choice between that and Alien vs. Predator that we got, and they chose Alien vs. Predator. So we never got an Alien 5 that was going to be directed by Ridley Scott, starring Sigourney Weaver, and written by James Cameron. So...
Written... Wait, what?
This was actually a thing. Like, this actually happened. The two best directors of the Alien films were making a script for a new Alien film together with Sigourney Weaver attached. And the studio said, no, we're going to do a PG-13 Alien vs. Predator film directed by a guy that did Resident Evil. Because fuck you. This actually happened. I'm not even kidding.
What?
We were this
What?
close to getting like an actually good Alien movie. Like I'm not even kidding.
That would have been so much better.
Yeah. And then they made a sequel to it. Like what?
Oh my gosh, dude, that's actually crazy. Because we did get Aliens versus Predator Requiem, and it was just so dark.
Literally, I couldn't see.
Literally couldn't say anything because it was so gosh darn dark. Also, there was a new poster for the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, and it looks like Dune. He's just on sand.
Yeah, I'm just happy to see.
And
I love Ian McGregor so much, so I'm happy to see him back as Obi-Wan.
he's pretty great. It'll be nice to see.
Also, Hayden's back, so that's gonna be good. So.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. I don't know what the story's gonna be though. It's just kind of like on the sand. 6 episodes.
6 episodes of sand.
Yeah. Then again, we're getting like a Ironheart show. I don't even fucking see that.
Honestly, they're probably not going to do a Click 2. They're probably just going to do a mini-series follow-up.
What if they do that, like a mini-series Click reboot? I could see them doing that and putting on some streaming service, because all these streaming services are just seeing properties and they're just immediately seeing dollar signs without realizing they actually had to put an effort.
Yeah, they usually forget that part.
And like you can't just like assume people are going to be into it. Like I guess there's a Firestarter remake that's going straight to Peacock.
Yes.
That's starring Zac Efron.
Yeah, Zach. Yeah,
What the fuck?
because yeah.
True. I mean, The Click, I haven't seen it in a few years. David Hasselhoff's in it, so it's probably like an 8 out of 5. But if I'm being honest, it's probably like a 1.
Have you seen 8 out of 5?
Yeah. It's probably a 1 out of 5, if I'm being honest.
Probably like a strong 26 out of 12.
That's over 12 times 2, my man.
Okay.
12 times 2 is 24. I don't know if you knew that.
Okay.
I know you're not much of a math guy, so.
Yeah, I suck at math notoriously.
You literally have sex with math. What are you talking about?
What?
What
What did you just say?
I don't know, man.
Anyway, Click. It's great. Not really. 3 out of 10. Not funny. Not. It's interesting, and it has its moments, but it's not funny. Poorly shot, poorly written. It's bad.
Yeah, if the concept alone carries, there's nothing else. I guess maybe a few decent gags with the concept, but otherwise, it's largely forgettable. A lot of people love this movie because like they grew up with it, which is fine. I like movies that I grew up with that are like objectively terrible. Like I could sit here and tell you all day how the first 3 Ice Age films were like a pivotal part of like my childhood experience, but like they're not good.
They were seminal.
They were seminal. I also loved like the first 2 Alvin and the Chipmunks movies as a kid, but like they were very bad.
I watched the second one a lot, and but I always hated the third and fourth one. I always watched the
second one for some reason, and it's like objectively worse in every way to the first one.
Yeah, and the first one's also pretty bad. So
and then like they made like 2 more. So also,
Jesus Christ, they did make a 4th one.
They made the 4th one like 10 years later, and like they released it the same weekend as The Force Awakens. So I don't know what they were thinking.
Yeah, they had a clear plan there.
They really did. I don't know why they did that. I guess they made some money, but like they also lost like $2 billion to Star Wars movies. So I don't know why they thought that was a good idea.
Well, they definitely didn't lose $2 billion because if the budget for Alvin and the Chipmunks: The Road Trip was $2 billion, then I would just absolutely faint and give up on life.
All that could have been given to like homeless people. Yeah, but next week we won't have an episode. At least that's not the plan. The week after that, we're planning on talking about the new Texas Chainsaw. If you see Uncharted, I probably won't see it, but I guess you can talk about that if you see it. Talk about
I don't know yet. So
any news that comes out, any like Super Bowl ads we want to talk about, trailers, stuff like that. Yeah, and then the week after that, I think we're talking about the Batman series. So
we'll be covering the Batman franchise in preparation for the release of the Batman. So
Oh yeah, did you see the new posters? It's really cool because in the poster, first off, Alfred is holding a shotgun, and if you put like a black light on the poster, there's like riddles on it.
I'm so very excited.
They like deliberately put like riddles hidden in the poster. They had to like deliberately
Go.
look for. Yeah, I'm excited. I'll probably get more excited like the weekend I see it, similar to Dune. But yeah.
I'm super excited.
I think it's officially 3 hours. So
Yep, 2 hours and 55 minutes.
has anybody seen it with you? It sounded like Trinity didn't want to watch it in theaters.
I've got plenty of people that want to go see it, so I'm gonna make it work.
Wait, who wants to see it? I know Tommy does.
Tommy does. A couple people from work want to see it. Justin said he was interested, so we'll see.
Mason's gay, bro. Yeah,
Okay.
but we've been going for like an hour and a half here. That's like we're actually over the runtime of Texas Chainsaw Massacre right now. So,
Well, I think that's probably good to call it then. Do you have any closing thoughts, Matthew? On Click, specifically.
I mean, I guess if the concept interests you, check it out. It's just not. Don't expect much.
3 out of 10.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre is much better than this.
10 out of 10.
This is like a very. Not only is this like a completely different genre that we talked about, this is like the complete opposite film. It's like also the complete opposite quality. So.
Very polarizing episode today.
Next week we're going to talk about The Godfather Part 2 and the Powerpuff.
And not the first one.
Yeah.
We will not mention the first film at any point. We will only discuss Part 2.
I've not seen Godfather. I've probably watched that at some point.
Probably. That might be a good one to check out. Yep.
I need to like pick. I'm definitely going to watch Black Christmas this year around Christmas time. If that's with you, that'd be nice, but we'll see.
Well, I really wanted to this past Christmas, but no one listened to Ellis, so
I wanted to, but then we saw Jack Frost and we just had to.
And we watched Jack Frost and Santa Jaws. What a great night. I was so happy about it.
You said you wanted to watch Santa Jaws, so I played it.
That was as bad of a turn as can be, trying to watch Black Christmas and then instead watching Jack Frost and Santa Jaws.
Then we watched Shrooms the next week. And you saw it twice.
I hated it. I hated Shrooms so much. It's such a bad movie.
The ending was so bad because I had no idea what was going on.
Such an extreme turnaround.
Don't worry, when I come back, we'll watch like Sun Wars.
Follow my letterbox, that Goat Chico. One word, ends with a 0.
You gained a few more followers. It looked like 11 followers going up.
Yeah. A couple, yeah. I mean, I'll probably start following some people because when you follow people, they sometimes follow back. That's how a lot of people have a lot of followers. So, but yeah, follow my letterbox. If you enjoyed, be sure to subscribe, leave a like.
Yeah, we'll see you guys in 2 weeks. But yeah.
Yep. Either way, have a good night, day, afternoon, evening, whatever, and we'll catch you next time.
Eat ass, get cash.